Choose life. Choose a career. Choose never to alter game. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We had the season 3 update, which kind of changed the meta totally. Assault rifles with their stray speed was decreased. The CR56 AMAX had its hit damage reduced by a single point. A few other changes. The Bullfrog received a nerf and a buff, mobility buff, plus also a nerf towards the head multiplier. So all in all, quite a lot of changes, and there's been a lot going on. We had the Carve 2 gun coming in, which everyone probably thought might be replacing the M16 or the AUG, which used to be one of the metas. But sadly, no, that gun is become more of a close range beast, as one would say. So sorry I haven't been posting for quite a while. I've been literally going through all these guns and loadouts, redoing everything that I've got, seeing what's good, what's viable, what I'm enjoying, what I like playing with, and what kind of works best for my play style. So I'm going to go through all my loadouts. Normally I just drop each of the guns and the weapons and then go, just show you the loadouts and do my top 10. However, at the moment, there's not really a top 10. It's very much open in the air. So I'm going to go through them all. There's not a particularly there's 1 to 5, and then we've got the ghost classes, the restocks and fully loaded, as well as my Project X, which is my experimental, my leveling, checking out weapons, checking out different loadouts and stuff. So I'm going to go through everything that I've currently got going on my thing and explain why I use these, why I like them, and pretty much if you're going to like and use them as well, make sure you do subscribe and like. Everything that you guys do helps out massively. We're up to 5,500 subscribers. That's fantastic. I've only been going for 4 months. We had 0 subscribers. Now we're up that many. So please make sure you like and subscribe. I try to do content that's based around how I play and what I do and is good for you guys. So any comments, drop a like, everything, you name it, you do it. Now let's dive in and check out my loadouts. So, first of all, my number 1 loadout is the ASVAL and the AMAX. The AMAX, I believe, still is pretty much the meta assault rifle to use. The damage difference that they've done by 1 point doesn't really make much. It still beams. It still is fantastic for those medium to long range engagements. It is just the best assault rifle going. However, some things we do say is we've got the Ram 7 as well, which is a great gun. But that's enough chat about that. We'll get to that in a bit. So, let's go to my ASVAL and AMAX. This loadout is mainly for solo and duo play. The ASVAL only has a 30 round mag, so that makes it ideal for solo duos. And the reason why is because the TTK is phenomenal. This gun absolutely shreds through everyone. It is so good in close quarter. So if you want to rock what I've got, this is what we're going with. We're going with the VLK 200mm OSA. This basically gives us, as we can see, this gives us the suppression, so we stay off the radar, higher damage range and higher bullet velocity with a con of ADS. This is counteracted by grabbing the stippled grip tape, which increases our aim down sight speed and sprint to fire. This negates the negativity of basically having that barrel. This does affect the aim instability, but this gun actually doesn't really, when you're in the close to medium range engagements, it doesn't really move at all. You're pretty much point, click, you're there. It's easy peasy. You go for the biggest round mag, it's 30 round mag, which is all you can get. This is the reason why this gun is only great for solo and duo play. And then we go with the Stov 6P30 Skeleton stock. This gives us increased aim down sight speed and aim walking movement speed, and also the con is aim instability. If you're finding the aim instability a little bit difficult, I would go with the Streetsweeper, which helps with that. However, it does have the impact of aim down sight speed, and your aim walking movement speed is down. I find this setup is really easy to use. I find I'm winning all of my close to slightly medium range engagements. This is brilliant for indoors. The hip fire axis is fantastic as well. That's why we shove on the 5mm laser, which gives that hip fire axis and sprint to fire. As you notice, a lot of this is geared up to sprint to fire. I run automatic tactical sprint, so the sprint to fire is key for this loadout. And then we have the AMAX. This is the tried and tested, pretty much set out that everyone uses. So the monolithic suppressor keeps us on the radar. This basically helps with the sound suppression and damage range. Slight cons, the Zodiac barrel, the VLK scope, Commando foregrip, and the 45 round mags. And the reticle I tend to use is the T-pose. It's very clean and very precise, and it's very good. I'm not going to go into all of the reasons why we have all this. This is pretty much what everyone uses. The only thing I will say is if you're a controller player like myself, the Commando foregrip, you might, if you're finding the recoil a little bit too hard to control, come down and select the Ranger foregrip. This helps massively as well if you're finding that you can't control the recoil. So give that a go, see what you like, and that's pretty much it. Perk wise, I go with double time, overkill, and apt. Double time, I like moving around the map quicker, and I also like being able to drop shot a lot quicker, which I think is quite good and quite helpful in those first early stages of playing Warzone. In terms of my extras, I like to have the heartbeat sensor, which is pretty much a go-to that everyone uses, and then my lethal is my Semtex. This is pretty much my favourite loadout for when I'm playing solo and duos. This is my first loadout, and then we will eventually get a secondary, which will be the ones that I'll be discussing later on, which is my 6 down to like 9. However, in my second place, I'm really liking the AMAX with the Groza. So ever since the FFR was nerfed, and you notice that we had all of the nerfs to all the stocks, in terms of like the Groza, they didn't nerf the KGB pad. So we're still getting all the benefits from having the stock. So this gun is really good. We've got a great stock, helps us with sprint to fire, ADS firing speed, hip fire accuracy. I'm not really worried about hip fire accuracy. I tend to like to aim down sight speed, a 45 round jump, so it doesn't really impinge my aim down sights with all the other ones. And I find 45 round mags is enough, especially when I'm running on trios and quads. The Spetsnaz speed grip instead of the Spetsnaz grip. This helps with the horizontal and vertical recoil control. However, you might want to use a Spetsnaz grip if you want to see how it plays out, but I'm pretty much liking the Spetsnaz speed grip for this. The barrel wise, I'm going with the final one, which gives me that strafe speed and damage, which is fantastic. And it does the effective damage range. You can see this damage range is already pretty high, being as it's an assault rifle. So this is brilliant for those close to medium range engagements. And then as soon as anything longer, we shove in and use the AMAX. And the cruise suppressor for all of those bonds in terms of sound suppression, vertical recoil control, bullet velocity, and effective damage range. This Groza is fantastic. I highly recommend giving it a go. Not many people comment about it. Not many people actually reviewed and rated it, saying it's a top tier gun. It's probably because the time to kill isn't great, but the speed and the use of it and the easy iron sights is really good. So you rock this one and the same again with the AMAX, monolithic suppressor, the Zodiac barrel, the VLK optic, the 45 round mag, and then for the under barrel, depending on your playstyle, as you can see here, I've got it with the Ranger foregrip. But you know, most of the other people will be Commando, but if you're not controlling the recoil, shove back on the Ranger foregrip. Same again here, perks are double time, overkill, and amped, and the heartbeat sensor and the Semtex. My third loadout is the AMAX and the XM4. This I'm actually friggin' loving. So AMAX again, medium long range, and I'm using the XM4 for my close range. This gun, I would say I prefer using it. It's a bit more fun than the Groza. The Groza is super quick and snappy, but this gun's just a very versatile, really good. I've been seeing quite a lot of the pros using this in the tournaments, using this as their like close range gun. And for me, a lot of them haven't been using the iron sight. Well, basically all been using iron sights. However, I find the iron sights incredibly horrible on the XM4. So I tend to shove on a Microflex LED. The stock is the Raider pad, 60 round mag, task force barrel, and the agency suppressor. I really highly recommending you guys using this. There's a great thing, the fact that with the XM4, in terms of time to kill, if you're just doing limb damage, the XM4 excels. Even over the FARA, the AMAX, the AK-47 Cold War. And also, it's pretty good in terms of if you get one headshot and the rest scattered elsewhere. It's around about in the fourth range mark, with the AMAX being first, AK-47 Cold War being second, then the Stone, and then the XM4 being in fourth place. And if you're just doing headshots, this is pretty much the third tier one in terms of time to kill, with the AMAX being first, the AK-47 Cold War gun being second, and the XM4 being third. So if you bring these all together in general, the shots are not actually always going to be super deadly accurate. In general, this gun is actually pretty damn good in terms of like across the board. It is a very good gun. So I do recommend you guys try this out. It's a great fun loading gun to try out. Same perks again, double time, overkill, and amped, as well as heartbeat sensor and Semtex. On my fifth loadout, this is my sniper loadout. So we'll start off with the KAR 98. this is pretty much the go-to, the king of sniping, quick sniping that everyone's using. The monolithic suppressor is what we rock with this, with the single custom 26, which will give us the longest range. The tac laser, which is giving us the speedy aim down sights, the aim stability and aim walking steadiness. And then with the laser, we're not worried because over the distances, you're not going to see it. Sniper scope, you can either go to the sniper scope, which is just a single 7 times, which is what I like to use. However, some people like to use the variable zoom scope. I rather just always have the same zoom on mine. This is just my personal preference, but that's all up to you. And stock-wise, I like the ST Vol Precision Cone for the aiming stability. However, if you're pretty good in the aiming stability wise and you don't really need to rock that, go to perk and then shove on focus. This will really help out when you're shooting in those assault rifle engagements where they just kept pepper spraying you and your flinching is not allowing you to get on target. Whereas this means that they can pepper spray you, you can get the right mark and get your headshot. However, I prefer to have the better aim and stability, and I'm not really going to go head to head with someone with an assault rifle by myself. I'll reposition myself and then take that shot and not just stay in the same position. And then with this, I'm rocking the AK-47. This gun is a beast. And this gun, I'm rocking the Groza suppressor for keeping us the radar, which is pretty much the muzzle I use for all of the Cold War guns. The Spetsnaz RPK barrel for the straight speed bullet velocity and effective damage range. However, it does affect your vertical recoil control and horizontal recoil control. As you notice with this gun will have a massive kick upwards. However, that's not a bad thing. If you're aiming for body shots, it's going to go up and you might get a headshot with it. So this is fine. Long range, this gun's going to be rubbish. Medium long range, this gun, no way. I wouldn't touch it personally. This gun for me is close range to medium range because the TTK is phenomenal. So for the other barrel, I use the Spetsnaz grip to help out with that recoil, which we know is incredibly bad. Rounds wise, I only have 45 rounds. This is enough for me. Some people might have more, but I rather not have an effect on my ADS. I want to keep that quick because this is my close to medium range engagement gun. And the stock wise, the KGB skeletal stock for all of the cons, all of the pros, not the cons. And the only single con there is the hipfire axis. I find this quite fun loadout to use. This is very aggressive. It's very versatile. It's well worth checking out if you like being aggressive and like sniping. And my perks are double time overkill and amped and heartbeat sensor and send it per 4. And then my fifth one is slightly different. Like, I really love the Krig. For a medium to long range gun, I think on controller, it's so easy to stay on target. It beams. It's a very good gun. In terms of like against the AMAX, it's not as good. But if you're finding that the fact that you're not getting your shots on target with the AMAX, then the Krig is going to be the gun for you. It's going to pretty much, you aim, it's going to be very easy to control. And for us controller people, this is pretty damn good. Unless you're good enough with a control to use the AMAX, of course. So for the Krig wise, we use the agency suppressor. This keeps us off the radar. This helps with our bullet velocity, effective damage range, and vertical recontrol. And as per normal, these attachments and muzzles will affect your ADS and aiming stability. So, but the thing is, we're going to be using the MP5 for our close to medium range, so we're not really worried about quickly snapping open for those close range engagements. So the ADS doesn't really bother us too much. In terms of barrel wise, I like to use the Ranger for that bullet velocity, so I know where I'm aiming is where the bullets will go and will hit. In terms of the rounds, I tend to go for just the 40 round mag. Some people like the 60 round mag. It's personal preference, but I'm quite happy with my 45. And then I use the airborne elastic grip. I find that it's good. It's quite more snappy. That helps with my aim down sights, my flinch resistance and aiming stability. I find if I'm in engagement with someone else and I'm aiming at them, I'm pretty much not going to jitter. I'm pretty much going to be aiming pinpoint. And for the optic, I use the SAT multi-zoom 2 times and 4 times. I find I get no recoil bounce at all when I'm aiming down sights on this gun. It is, for me, perfectly better than the VLK, the Axel 3-time scope that most people use. So try this one out. This Krig here setup is very, very good. And in terms of my close to medium range engagements, there's quite a lot out there. Like, you've got the LC10, which is okay. You've got the Bullfrog, but I'm thinking the Modern Warfare MP5 gun is the one that's coming back. I was checking this out and trying it out, trying the LC10, trying the Bullfrog. And to be honest, this one I preferred a lot better. I found that it was a lot more snappier. I was getting close, aiming down sights onto those people, snapping onto them, hip firing a lot better, being able to go into buildings, being able to pepper spray through hip fire and taking down players a lot more effective than I would with the LC10 or the Bullfrog. And well, that's enough chat about that. Let me show you my attachments. So monolithic integral suppressor, this is pretty much a must. This is the one that everyone pretty much uses for this gun, for the sound suppression and bullet velocity. Merc foregrip, which helps out with our hip fire accuracy and recoil control. Stipple grip tape for the aim down sight and sprint to fire, which is one. 45 round mags, which is the biggest mag size we can have for this gun, and attack laser for the ADS aim stability and aim walking steadiness. However, some of you might be more geared up to doing hip fire. If you are, I would probably add on the 5mm laser for your hip fire accuracy. Me personally, I'm a more of a aim down sights kind of guy. Even if I go into a room, I'm going to pre-aim. I'm not going to go around and just fire off. I'm pretty much an ADS. So this kind of build is for the ADS kind of guy. If you are going to be more of a hip fire, you probably want to shove on the 5mm laser. I'd probably remove the stipple grip tape, and I'll probably shove on here sleight of hand, or even so, probably the collapsible foregrip, depending on your playstyle. But this loadout's pretty good. It's doing me good justice, so I'll probably try this. On this one, I run EOD, Overkill, and Amped with the heartbeat sensor and Semtex. Next, I'm going into my ghost classes. So these are my secondaries. So everything from down 6th place down to 9th is my secondary class. This is once I've got my first loadout, this is what I'm going to get second. So this one is like, if I'm not feeling the love with the AMAX, my direct replacement will be the RAM. Trust me, the RAM is a fantastic gun. It's on par with the AMAX in terms of like, if you're struggling with the AMAX and you want something that's got a super fast TTK across the board from close range to medium range, this gun is fantastic. It beams, it's good, it sticks on the targets, very, very easy control. The mobility is it's really poor. That's the only thing that lets down the RAM with this. That's why I tend to have it as my ghost class, because I prefer to use the AMAX, but if I'm not feeling it, I'm not doing so well, secondary loadout, I'll grab this one. So for this one, I go with the monolithic suppressor. Help me stay off the radar. It also improves my damage range. Same thing going with the cons, all the same. ADS and the aim walking steadiness. The Ranger barrel gives me the biggest damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. This gives me the best possible range with this gun for those medium to long range engagements. Commander foregrip basically helps out with recoil stabilization, aim and stability, and only affects your movement speed. The 50 round mags is the only mag size that I can have, so I'll wrap that. And the optic, I go with VLK, and on this one I have the T-post scope. This RAM setup is pretty frigging good. I definitely recommend it if you're not enjoying the AMAX and you want the next, pretty much I would say the next tier weapon in terms of assault rifles, I would rock that one. And then for my secondary, I tend to go with the M19. And for that I have the Akimbo, 32 round mag, lightweight trigger, extended barrel, and the 5mm laser. This has got a super TTK in super close range. This has a phenomenal fire rate, as you can see down in the bottom. And this is just a backup, you know, this is what I do. And then for my secondary, I tend to put my perks in EOD, Ghost and Amped, and then heartbeat sensor and Semtex. My other ghost one is the Shield and the Psychov pistol. So if I'm jumping back in, after being in the gulag and I'm in a tight situation, I need to grab a loadout and I think there's a lot of shit going on around, I'm going to grab my ghost shield. Reason for this, the shield is a bit of a cheating thing. No one's going to get through that shield. You're only covered from the backside. Crouching wise, you're pretty much safe. And in terms of my secondary with it, I tend to like to rock the pistols. I find that I pretty much don't want to aim. I just want to press my L2, R2 buttons and just let rip. So with the Skycoff, with the monolithic suppressor for that damage and sound suppression, make sure you always have the Sorokin at 140mm auto for the full auto fire, the 5mm laser for the hip fire sprint to fire, 80 round drum mag, you might as well have the most possible, and the Akimbo perk. So I can get down, get my shield open. If someone does come close, I've got a kind of chance in that close range if someone's there just to absolutely just hammer those buttons and aim at whatever's inside me. No skill involved, nothing at all. It's pretty much cheat. With this, EOD, Ghost and Amped, with my heartbeat sensor and Semtex. Then I've got my final Ghost one, which is my fully loaded. This is basically if I want to get Ghost and I've not got that much ammo for my assault rifle as well as my SMG.
So the Groza tried and tested, but I'm using it for mainly for my fully loaded perk of getting the max ammo as I can if I don't have that much at the time. Or if I'm jumping in and I pretty much want to give myself a kind of bit of a chance, even though it's not the top tier gun, but it's very good. The Groza, as we always know, we used to be a meta gun. The iron sights is probably the best iron sights that you're going to get of all the guns across the board. It's very clean, very easy to use. The recoil is pretty much minimal. It does beam, it is a laser, but it just doesn't have that damage profile that the other assault rifles have. But for this, we run the monolithic suppressor, same things for sound pressure and damage range. The Archangel barrel, which gives us the best damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. It does affect our aim down sights and movement speed, but we're not too worried about that. In terms of the full barrel, we command a foregrip for the recoil stabilization and aiming stability. 60 round mags, why not? Might as well have the biggest mag there is. And then the perk, which is the most crucial thing about the modern warfare guns, is fully loaded. So we start with maximum reserve ammo. So that is fantastic. And then for the Psychov, we then also shove on, as you can see, fully loaded. Because this, if I'm rocking my first loadout as a SMG and a assault rifle class, so something like a good example is like the LC10, the Bullfrog, that you're running with the MP5 or MP5 Cold War, and then that your second gun is one of your assault rifles, like I don't know, like your AMAX, your Krieg, your Ram 7, and you've got not much ammo, and then your second loader drops. This you grab, you're going to have your full ammo for your SMG and your full ammo for assault rifle. So the main thing for this is just to have the perk fully loaded. I tend to have the 80 round drum for the biggest size, my lightweight trigger for the fastest fire rate and aiming stability, make it auto as well. So I've got the Sorokin 140 or millimeter auto barrel, and then I have the 5mm laser for the hipfire accuracy and sprint to fire speed. And with this, we have EOD, Ghost and Amped, and Heartbeat Sensor and Semtex, which is the same as all. Next, I have the Restock. So Restock's it's a bit of a funny one. We're not going to be ghosted. It's not got my best weapon class. The main thing what we're doing here is basically is getting our perks. So the EOD, Restock, Amped. So the main thing is Restock. So Restock's one, if I kind of like know where I am, I know where the last circle's going to be. If you're going to be one of those boring people, I pretty much don't use this very often, but if I pretty am in a mood of just sitting and camping in an area, Restock's fantastic. I'm not worried if people know where I am. I can claymore up the building. I know even if they blow them up, my Restock will allow me to pop them back down again. Stun grenade, so if they come up the stairs or anything, stun them, go down and take them down. So mainly this build is just for the Restock with the claymore and stun. I tend to rock this with the Groza, which is the same loadout as I do for my Ghost class, well, excluding the fully loaded. So I've got fully loaded, 60 round mag, commander foregrip, 10% Archangel, and monolithic suppressor. Just so even if I jump in, I want to just basically get into a building. I've not got no loadouts. This is what I've got. I've got a full ammo kit. Also, that's going to so I know my Groza is going to be good from medium to long range. And then with my Psychov, I know it's going to be not too bad on the close range. That's why I shoved the Akimbo 80 round mag, lightweight double attack, the auto barrel, and the 5mm laser. So this is good for like the close to medium range in those engagements. This is for the medium long, and I can basically barricade myself in a building by having Restock with claymore and stun. Pretty much don't really use this. I don't ever really get the chance to use this, and that's why it's right down here low. I tend to stick with, if I'm doing solos, duos, the ASVAL AMAX, and if I'm playing quads or trios, it's any one of the others that take my fancy. And then if I'm not enjoying the AMAX, I tend to rock into it and shove in the RAM when I get my Ghost. So Ghost, this one is pretty much the Ghost one I use all the time. In danger, if I'm needing the stock. And then my Project X is basically me, but basically trying out new guns, leveling them up. As you can see here, I've got the Carve 2, which is also a very interesting gun. One would expect it to be taken over from the M16 or another gun, but this gun is very good for those close range games. So I'm going to try this one out. I'm not sure how this is going to fit in the mix, if it's going to be top tier or not. But that is pretty much it. Well, I must say thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to all this. I hope that some of these loadouts do help you out in Warzone to get you more wins. If it really has helped you out, drop a like, make a comment as well, anything you want or anything you want me to check out.
And also, please subscribe. It really does help out. I really thank you guys. So, good luck in Warzone. See you guys in Verdansk. Layers. Over now from N2O2G.